I used to work at Delta Airlines, and people would call in, and I could always tell they were going to ask something dumb because they sounded like a hillbilly. And here's how it would go. There'd be a flight that would leave Cincinnati at 8 in the morning and arrive in Nashville at 7:54. And every time they'd be like, hold up, are you telling me this plane is going back in time? Yes, that's what I'm telling you. Delta Airlines is invented time travel specifically for hillbillies, and it's only 6 minutes at a time. So pack your duffel bag, head, and get on there.
Dumbass of the day. 93.3 KZOZ.
You see all the headlines about the flight that it left like New Zealand. So it left right as like the morning. It was like a red-eye flight from New Zealand and went to Hawaii on New Year's Eve. So it left like right after New Year's Eve. So it left in 2018 and landed in 2017. It went a year behind.
I didn't, but that's great.
Yeah. I could totally see.
Let's live 2017 one more time.
I totally can see one of us getting in this situation. Gentleman was delayed on a Ryanair flight from London to Malaga, Spain. Okay. After it landed, it stayed on the tarmac for a very long time. And this is when everybody gets up and stands there and stands in the aisleway. And you've said many times that this is your number one pet peeve about traveling. I agree with you.
With other people,
yeah.
They got to stand up right away.
It's annoying because
you're not supposed to take your seatbelt off.
Sometimes if you're an aisle sitter, and being an aisle sitter,
you get somebody's ass right in your face.
Either ass or like a duffel bag will clock you in the head. It's not fun. A gentleman was sitting in his seat, and everybody got up, and the plane sat there on the tarmac for 30 minutes after it landed, okay?
I wonder if everybody just stood there for 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
They're like, I don't want to sit back down. I've already stood up.
No, they did. That's what they were doing. And 30 minutes tarmac time is like days, okay? I mean, that's a long time to be sitting on the tarmac. And one gentleman was sitting down, and he got so fed up with everybody standing up in the aisleways that he decided to go up and check out the situation in the emergency exit row. So he goes up and he looks at the, keep in mind, it's still on the tarmac. It's not at a gate, okay? Yeah. He goes up, he looks out at the wing, and he looks at the emergency room, and he goes back to his seat, and he's like, excuse me. He grabs his backpack, then goes back up to the seats that are vacant because the people are standing up in the middle of the row, climbs into their seats, opens up the emergency door exit, and then climbs out onto the wing. There's video of this over on our Facebook page.
Hey, I got to go, man.
He's like,
I got a connection.
I got to get off this flight. The man he's not been named in this incident, but he's being investigated by the police in Spain. He was coaxed back onto the plane where the police were called, and then he was taken into custody. And
wow, this is a big plane.
Now
this is a full-size airplane.
Oh yeah, this is like the real deal. Like he climbed out there. I think what happened is if you watch that video, he climbed out there and he was thinking, okay, wing, ground, can't be that far, right?
Yeah,
and then he sat there on the wing for a minute. He's like, ooh, this could break some knees.
Yeah, that is probably at least 10 feet.
Maybe I will get dropped.
Probably
back. Maybe I will get back into the. Oh, I think that's more than 10 feet on a plane.
Yeah, it's probably 15. Well, I wonder if an alarm goes off when you open that emergency
exit.
Does. I mean, I've always wanted to open it because you look at it and you're like, God, I wonder how is this easy to open? Is this going to be? Because I always want to know if you can do it. I'm like, yeah, I think I can pull this lever and pull this and pull back and hold 50 pounds. That's no problem. Oh, here's the video. That's great. You got to watch the video. Come on, jump, you pussy.
What I want to understand is the person taking the video, how did they get their arm outside the plane unless they went through the passenger door that was already open?
The emergency exit door. Yeah, that's what they did.
Oh, okay.
They had to have.
Because it looks like there are a couple windows back
it does.
Of it. So I'm like, does this plane have windows that you can just open up at any time?
Well, the wing is so big that there's actually a couple of windows that just look at the wing past the emergency exit. Wow. And at least there's arrows there to tell them where to go. Otherwise, you could have got.
I don't think
you could have got sucked into the front of the.
Pretty sure that's not where the arrows are telling them where to go.
That is pretty great. Yeah, this is one of my favorite dumbasses so far. Good way to start dumbass of the day in 2018.
Yeah, no kidding.
Wait, the guy did jump down.
No, he didn't. He got talked back onto the plane.
Come on in, dude.
I'm sure he took a look at the drop and he's like, all right, I'll get back on the plane.
Do you get arrested for that? Do you get a fine?
I don't know. My question is, since it's Ryanair, do they find a way to charge you for tarmac time? Like it's like one of those surcharges. If we're on the tarmac for 30 minutes after we land, we have to charge you a surcharge for it because that's how that airline operates. It's notorious.
Like frugal airline, charge you for everything, nickel and dime you.
It was funny. We got one from some other airline that they do cheap flights from L.A. to Iceland. And my wife's always wanted to go to Iceland, and I get this notification in my email over the holidays. And it was like, go to Iceland for like $99. She's like, let's take the whole family to Iceland. I get to looking at it, and I was like, you want to go to Iceland? You want to go in April? It's Iceland, keep in mind. It's pretty cold. You want to go in April? We're only allowed to take a duffel bag. If not, the price jumps up to like $1,500.
Yeah, there you go. Let's go to Iceland.
We could go
in a duffel bag.
We could go with duffel bags for $500.
I don't want to travel with people that fly in Ryanair because look at this, jokers. Like these are the jokers that open the emergency exit and think they're just going to bail.
I want to see that. I mean, come on, are you kidding me? You're not going to get that. You're not going to get that on your precious Alaskan Airlines, my friend.
No, probably not.
Congratulations to the dude that decided to leave the plane, but then chickened out. You quitter. You're such a quitter.
You got to jump and run, dude.
Once you've made that decision to open up that emergency exit door, you get off that wing, okay?
I don't know if you heard about this, but there was an Alaska flight that was getting ready to leave yesterday morning about 9:15. It was taxiing to the runway when they returned to the gate because apparently there was a rat on board.
Oh, a rat.
Somebody,
God, it's so weird.
Rats on a plane.
I just heard a story yesterday about a plane that actually had to fly back to where it left from because there was a hummingbird in the cockpit and it kept buzzing the co-pilot and the pilot. So it was like, hummingbirds.
But the plane's on autopilot, right? Can't you just open the door and
let the hummingbird out with the
passengers?
With the commoners?
Yes.
No.
They're not flying the plane.
No, so what they had to do is they had to turn it around and land the plane because this hummingbird was buzzing them in the cockpit, and they think that the hummingbird got on the plane during the boarding process.
Sure, okay. Well, I mean, that makes sense. That makes sense because, I mean, it is buzzing around in the cockpit, and you need to fly the airplane, all right? But this is just a mouse on a plane, and you're literally, they had brought it back to the gate. Everybody missed their flight. Everybody had to be bussed to different airports to try to get another flight to get to where they were going, which I think they were going to Portland. Yeah, it was a flight from Oakland to Portland. Here's the story.
Alaska Airlines flight canceled after a rat is spotted boarding the plane. Good evening, I'm Elizabeth Cook.
And I'm Alan Martin. That rat caused major issues for passengers headed for Portland. KPIX5's Jackie Ward live outside Oakland International, where the unwelcome passenger tried to catch that flight. Jackie?
Yeah, he sure did. So bad weather, mechanical issues, overbooking, those are all justifiable reasons for delays and cancellations, right? But a rat? One man tells us he has officially seen it all now. Alaska Airlines Flight 915 was supposed to take off at 9:37 a.m., but instead of heading to Portland, the plane was towed to a remote stand on the tarmac at Oakland International, where the airline says exterminators have gone to work inside the Boeing 737.
I mean, okay, so can you imagine missing your flight, screwing up your whole day because of a mouse? I'm like, just let the thing go.
It's not a mouse.
Let the damn thing take the ride.
It's a rat, okay? There's a difference between a mouse and a rat. If we let a rat loose in here for the day and said, all right, guys, go ahead and finish your show. Yeah. There's no way in hell you are finishing that show.
How big is the rat?
Okay.
How big is a rat typically?
That's
like almost 2.5 feet long.
Tail to mouth. This is how long a rat is. I know this because I've killed one. All right.
They say it was a rat.
I mean, just think about it. You're sitting there on a plane for what? It was to Portland. So this is about
a couple hours.
About a 90-minute flight from Oakland. 90-minute flight, and you keep feeling this brush by your feet.
Well, you pick your feet up.
The rat was trapped in our nursery at our house, and we had it trapped in there, and I was like going at it with like a broom. I was trying to catch it with a broom, but it kept like going underneath stuff, and then it was trying to escape, and it gnawed a big chunk of the door jamb out of our of the nursery. It was
trying to chew its way out.
Trying to chew its way out. Okay.
Well, yeah, you don't want that thing to chew any cables, I guess, on an airplane.
If you were traveling on a plane and there was a rat on board, okay, and they're like, we're just going to try to tough this thing out with the rat on board, guys. You guys go, cool with it? Because we want to make it to Portland so everybody can make that connection.
I want to say that I would be okay with that.
You would be okay with that.
I'm pretty sure, it's a big airplane.
You're pretty sure you'd be
It's a big airplane.
When we had the rat in our house, and I was fighting off the rat, every morning I would have a confrontation with the rat. I would walk out, and then the rat would see me, and then he would take off. One morning,
scared of you. He's not
one
gonna bother
morning,
you.
I went into the bathroom to go pee before I decided to go look for the rat, and the son of a bitch ran down the door. I don't even know how you run down a door. Okay, so it's not even if you keep your feet up. Even if you keep your feet up on the plane, it's not like the rat is not going to figure out a way to get up into that seat.
Grab that son of a bitch and just strangle him.
But the thing is, you can't grab it. It's a rat. It'll bite you.
All right.
Okay?
Earlier, as passengers were boarding at Gate 10, the airline says a rat ran from the jetway and onto the plane.
Are you kidding me? He boarded the plane like
Yes.
all the other passengers?
That's how he came into my house. we let the dogs out. It was opportunistic.
2018, even though we'd really love to be on a plane right now, headed home.
Matt Goff had a seat on that flight and took it upon himself to name the rat after the owner of the soon-to-be Las Vegas Raiders.
So I grew up in Oakland and Berkeley, and grew up a Raiders fan. I had to endure them leaving once before, so I named the rat Mark Davis, for another rat who wants to leave Oakland.
Any passengers who had already gotten on
They're so
board
funny.
deplaned. The airline says most of the 110 passengers will be booked onto other flights tonight. Some are stuck until tomorrow.
They didn't even go back to the jetway. They parked the plane in the middle of the tarmac. They brought vans out. They got the stairs out. They got everybody out, and it was quarantined
That's
off.
how people react when they see a rat. They get the hell out of the room, okay? So if you think for a minute that they would say, we're going to try to just act like that rat did not exist and we're going to continue this flight, there would have been bedlam and mayhem.
So you
in
would
the
rather
air.
take another 12 hours to get home
Yes.
than just fly 90 minutes with a mouse?
Yes. It's not a mouse, it's a rat, okay? There's a big difference. And even if there was a mouse aboard, I think even then I would probably say, okay, let's go ahead and pull this thing over and get everybody onto a different plane. Victor says he had 4 or 5. Like when you've had so many pet rats that you don't know an exact count, that's a lot of pet rats. He says he's had 4 or 5 pet rats growing up. So he probably would have toughed it out on the plane with you, Jeremy.
Shelley says, yeah, of course. Let the plane continue on.
Oh my gosh, you people.
They
Carry rabies.
Who cares? It's not going to bother you. It's going to go hide and probably try to eat the garbage.
That's what's funny is
I'd trap it in the back.
Because we have dogs. The rat that was our house guest for I think 6 weeks. Maybe
he was living on your dog food.
He was. Yeah, he was taking the dog food, and this little bastard rat. Oh man, son of a bitch! He would take the dog food, climb up into the chair, and set it up into the chair at our dining room table. Because the dogs couldn't get to it up there, so he would take he would take it away, even though he couldn't eat it. Whatever he couldn't eat, he would take and save for later by putting it out of the reach of the dogs.
Smart. You think about it, it's pretty smart.
So the dogs come out of there like, dude, where's that food that we had?
It's good thing your dogs didn't get rabies. From the rat eating out of their
The
dish.
rat would be scared during the daytime because the dogs would be out and about walking around the house,
Right.
so he would hear the nails of the dogs on the ground, and then he would hide.
How does this thing
underneath
that's 2.5 feet long hide?
Oh my gosh, it's incredible. There was a little hole underneath the sink about yay big, about an inch by inch by inch. And that's where we think he was going into because I plugged up that hole. And I did it with, they say, you start looking online when you think you have a mouse or a rat. If you use steel wool and you put it up there, so I had an SOS pad. So I took the SOS pad and I shoved it up in there, and there was a couple more weeks went by. And then, and I thought he was gone. I thought he'd gone in a different direction, but apparently he was like just hanging out there. He got so hungry, he came back out. He pushed the steel wool out because I saw the steel wool laying on the ground one morning.
See,
and I was
smart. Mike writes in, and I was kind of thinking this during the music, was, he could start chewing on wires that are important to the plane. You start doing stuff like that, and then maybe you start having some issues.
That had that happen with
I doubt that's going to happen in a 90-minute flight. I'm sure they can get to Portland and then, get rid of the rat.
Yeah, but
then get rid of the rat. And
but
then
what happens?
the plane.
What happens if you get to like Roseburg, and then you realize that he's chewed through the landing gear? Then you go to put down the landing gear, and you're like, oh, no landing gear. Water landing on the Columbia River.
Yeah, then it's a great movie. It's a made-for-TV movie there.
I'm not taking that risk, okay? Get me off the plane that has the rat on it. Toot sweet.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.